next we have up, which might be the best thing happening in wrestling right now, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of really good stuff right now. I definitely think that it's starting to heat up a little bit. I don't know if it's the programs or what's happening, but Drew McIntyre, WWE champion, versus Randy Orton, bringing back the moniker, the Legend Killer.
The Legend Killer, baby. He's back.
One of my favorite things about this is that they are trading some really good promos right now. Feeling like a shoot. Another wrestling term. Sims, what's a shoot?
A shoot is basically an unplanned or unscripted promo.
Yeah, which basically means that you're being honest, right?
You're not acting.
Yep. So calling out Randy Orton as a shoot for not being a good locker room leader whenever he was a top guy several years ago, and Drew McIntyre's well-documented first run in WWE as the chosen one with Vince McMahon. Feeling really good. And let me talk about, for a second, talking about shoot promos. That promo that Randy Orton laid on Ric Flair at the end of Raw this week. It was nothing was wrong about it, let me tell you. But I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you so you can kind of I know how much you loved the last segment of Raw, so let me give it to you and you can take it away.
So yeah, in my opinion, that was absolutely beautiful. From Randy just, laying out his past with Rick, and then coming to the point where he's like, I don't love and respect anyone anymore. Fuck everybody. Fuck. I love it. Randy Orton as a psychopath, hearing voices in his head, not giving a shit about anybody, is the best Randy Orton. And I'm going to get some disagreements with this with another, 3-letter guy over on that other show on Wednesdays, but Randy Orton's the best heel in the world right now. And then Rick coming in this, I didn't see it coming. Ric Flair almost made me cry on Monday night, and I, as a grown man, will admit that. Just going into his battles with his medical stuff, and just like, I almost died, man, and I was like thinking about everybody that I love, and just really heartwarming stuff. And then Randy kicked him in the balls and laid him down nice and easy.
He gave him the old 1-2.
He did.
But can I just say real quick, one of my favorite things about the promo segment, it wasn't probably meant to be funny, but I died whenever Rick. Let me just start off with saying Rick has his place in wrestling history. He is one of, if not the greatest of all time, the GOAT. There's no disagreement there. He's on
the Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. Sure. You took the words right out of my mouth. But I don't think there's a place for Ric Flair on professional wrestling TV right now. I can't do it. It's tough for me to listen to. But whenever he looked at Randy after Randy was like, I don't care about you. You're old. You should have died, is basically what Randy told him. He looked at Randy and goes, Randy, I'm taking this very personal right now. Like, I would hope so. He's calling you out. Like,
not to mention the biggest barb is when Randy looked Ric Flair dead in the face and said, I was the son that you always wanted. Yikes.
Yeah, that was rough.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
But that's Randy Orton right now. It's where he is.
And we actually ran a Twitter poll for the week. I made it after last week's segment with Randy Orton and Seth Rollins kind of doing their thing about who the best heel in professional wrestling is right now. And we got a good amount of votes. I think there are about 10 votes. And mind you, we have like 50 followers.
Yeah, it's like 20% of our followers.
Yeah,
so.
10 feels good for us.
Yeah.
But it was overwhelming. People, it was like 9-1. People picked Randy Orton over Seth Rollins, which I was surprised about. But Man,
Now
there's
that was just heels in WWE.
yeah, just WWE. But there's something about after that entire segment where the lights went out. We don't know if he kicked him or not. We assume so. We'll get to that in a second. But there's Randy slithers out of the ring and just has that blank look on his face, like looking in the ring like, what the fuck did I just do? It doesn't get any better than that.
No.
It makes you feel like there was somebody else in control of Randy at that point in time. Like, he had that look on his face like, I just put out Ric Flair. Like, what did I just do?
But they talk to him and they understand.
Yeah. So I'll pass the mic back to you because you do have it to where you're thinking this angle, guys, is the part in the story that makes you kind of think something's going to happen whenever it may end up going down that road, or it just doesn't. It's part of the storyline. But I'm going to pass the mic to you because you and I have different ideas of where this angle is going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and let you kind of talk to it.
So I do. So come SummerSlam, I think that Ric Flair is going to interfere in the championship match on behalf of Randy Orton to help him become the new champion. Because one, I think we're both in agreement that Randy Orton's coming out of that. Not to give too much away because I'm sure we'll do predictions next weekend, and things could change before next weekend also. But and I think that would make it to the point where Drew doesn't look bad in defeat, and it's just a big swerve. And they can easily say, "Well, the lights went out. I never kicked him in the head. You guys are dumb."
Like, why would I do that to Rick?
Yeah, that's my guy. That's like my dad.
Yeah. And I don't hate that, to be honest with you. I would be all in on protecting Drew because I think one thing that WWE doesn't do a great job of right now, they put the title on somebody and Drew went over Brock Lesnar. Let's remember who the hell Brock Lesnar is. First and foremost, he's the Great White. He's the big box office ticket.
The Beast Incarnate.
Exactly. So he went over him, and what was it, like 4 Claymores? It was like a 5-minute match.
Yeah, that typical Brock Lesnar match.
Yeah. But I would like the fact that if Drew would be protected, kind of keep him strong, keep him in a title picture or something like that, to where you always buy Drew as a good title contender rather. So I don't hate it, but here's where I'm going to go with my idea. So we have Raw coming up on Monday, and it's the go home show. Okay, another wrestling term. Go home show, guys, is whenever it's your last show for either brand before the pay-per-view. So it's the last little bit of storytelling that they can kind of sneak in there to get you kind of like hook, line, and sinker on the match that they have presented for you on the pay-per-view. Worked a lot better, I think, years ago whenever they had to kind of convince you to pay $50 for a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But now you get it for $9.99.
$9.99, baby.
I think Michael Cole said if you subscribe now, you get SummerSlam and Payback, which you get 2 pay-per-views. Pretty good deal for $10 a month.
Oh, Payback's the next pay-per-view.
And don't tell them, but you can have more than one user on your profile.
Yeah, I've never utilized that.
I don't know how I know that.
I would never suggest that to anyone if ever.
But they have the Go Home show of Raw's coming up, which obviously Randy Orton and Drew, that's where they're going to get their little last piece of storytelling in. They've been promoting the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, to be showing up on Raw this week on
the showstopper
Monday to confront Randy Orton about what he did to Ric Flair. Little bit of history. We do know that HBK is the one that unofficially retired Ric Flair at WrestleMania. And they've had this bond ever since. So I think it was Rick that bought him and Shawn matching Rolexes that I don't think I've seen Shawn make an appearance that he hasn't had that watch on. If you watch interviews and stuff like that, they both speak so highly of each other, which they should be. I think both can be considered the top guy from their generation at that point in time. Um, but man, I think Shawn gets the punt.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not big into giving spoilers, but Shawn Michaels is going to get kicked in the head.
Yeah, I think Shawn's getting kicked in the head, man. And then this is where my prediction's going. So, I think for people that really follow wrestling and for new folks that are kind of following us right now, this all leads to Edge coming back. Okay. Edge made his triumphant return to the Royal Rumble last year, or this year technically, but several months ago, after being out for a very long time with a neck injury, he's finally back. Had his greatest wrestling match of all time with Randy and got injured again. He tore his bicep. Is that correct?
I think it was his tricep. I could be wrong. It was either bi or tri. It was either, one of the two.
So he should be ready, odds are, by this coming Royal Rumble, which is crazy enough to say. We're closer to the new Royal Rumble than we are the old Royal Rumble at this point.
Which is awesome because
so I think this comes with Randy's big heel run, ends with Edge taking the belt off of him at WrestleMania. But who the hell are we going to get between Edge at WrestleMania and whenever Randy Orton beats Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam? Yeah. I think you take out Ric Flair, you take out HBK, you kind of have to cue in for the game. I think Triple H is going to come out of retirement. He's going to be that badass cut-off jean jacket, sledgehammer, hands taped up, the game everybody loves. I don't know. I don't know if you could get Dave Batista. I don't know if you can get him out to do a match with him retiring and going into the Hall of Fame. But like you mentioned the other day, and I was so excited about this, guys. I literally called Josh and our other friend Wayne, which we're going to feature on some future episodes because really great wrestling mind. I was so excited. It was like 11:10 at night, and I called both of them on FaceTime. I was like, this is what I think is going to happen. So let us know in the comments below, man, or lady, excuse me. Let us know below. What do you think is going to happen? How do you think this storyline is going to play out? Hell, do you even think Randy Orton's going to be able to beat Drew? Is Drew going to keep the belt and move on to the next show? We don't know.
Yeah, I almost feel like it makes more sense for Drew to keep it because there is a complete and total lack of main event quality faces on Raw right now for Randy Orton to feud with. Like, I mean, Aleister Black, come on, homie, where are you, man? Like, they could have built him to be there as a possible. I would love a Randy Orton Aleister Black feud, but I mean, he's MIA. Who knows? He's on Zelina Vega's Twitch every now and then. That's about it. That's the only time I see him.
He got wrote off a few weeks ago by Seth Rollins. They broke his hand after they injured his eye, and he won't be back for a while. So, but yeah, I think that's about does it for Raw. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode of Sims Gets It. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button below and following us on Twitter @SimsGetsIt. It'll be in the description below.